Hi there, welcome to Lean Into Love. I'm your host, David Baines. This is a podcast video where I really try to show a different way of looking at the world, looking at each other in a more loving and kind way. This is my 5th episode. I'm going to be reading from a piece of paper because, as I said, with these episodes I do write them and sort of research within my mind and then post them as a blog. So let's begin today's episode. Love isn't naive. It's a journey from cynicism to connection. Now, some might dismiss, my message about love as naive. If you've been watching these other 4 episodes, might see my love everyone philosophy as wishful thinking in a world where violence and hatred has been constant companions throughout history. When we looking at humanity's trajectory, we're actually moving toward greater kindness and compassion. While violence hasn't disappeared, our collective urge to harm each other is actually diminishing. Yes, wars are still raging on and people are dying in horrible ways daily. Our 24/7 media landscape ensures, we witness every moment of global suffering. However, consider this perspective. During World War II, with a global population of 2 billion people, 30 million military personnel and 40 million civilians died in that war. I know it seems incredible. I know we hear about the Holocaust of 6 million, which was also horrible. Add that into all the other people that died as well. It was just an absolute atrocity. And so today, with 4 times the population, the actual killing of each other is marginally, at a very large scale, a lot less. Now, I acknowledge these statistics. If you're someone out there that actually has lost a loved one to war, statistics are going to be meaningless. But on a global scale, we are evolving into a kinder existence. This isn't just because of our capacity for love, that's part of it, but also because of our drive for efficiency and problem solving. We're learning that kindness simply works, or as they say, it's better, to use sugar than spice, when interacting with someone in a loving engagement, sort of the saying goes. And so it is just more efficient to be kind. And more people are discovering that a loving outlook benefits the giver and the receiver. Not just the receiver, but the giver as well. By loving, I mean something fundamentally simple, just basic kindness towards your fellow human. Now, we're all flesh and blood beings, sharing this planet. Now, while we don't know 99.999% of people's stories, we can choose to see them as reflections of ourselves. Fellow travelers on life's journey. When we truly see others in both their strength and vulnerability, our relationships transform. Even if they only consciously register our kindness, when we're, I'm sure in times in your life you've went and expressed kindness to somebody and they just sort of brushed it off. It's almost like they didn't even care. But even if this slightly connects with them in some sort of way, into their awareness, their path has been affected, as has ours. And so they've sort of gone off into their day just a little slightly better. Now, personally, I haven't always, looked at the world in this way. If you ask me years ago, 30 years ago, that I would even be doing videos like this, I would say you're crazy. Because in my younger years, I focused on humanity's shadow side. I actually kind of looked it out because I saw there was something wrong, something was going on. I saw the violence and the corruption, and it really led me to a view that our species is almost like a virus spreading around the world, that we're just mean people, mean to each other. And of course, I ended up stumbling upon conspiratorial writers, who exposed me to the various organizations around the planet, and societies that are, trying to control the world, control each other for their own material gain and power. And this knowledge gave me someone to blame for the unhappiness and my own life's disappointments. This worldview allowed me to see myself as one of the good guys, while viewing others as evil controllers. Now, while it felt empowering to wake up and not be a sheep anymore, this perspective actually disempowered me. Blaming others, even when it was justified, didn't improve my life. And, it didn't actually make me a better person. My journey through conspiratorial theories, eventually led to an unexpected revelation. Love is the only way to overcome controlling mindsets and organizations. So what I came to realize is that I'll never have enough bombs or money or guns or all these control mechanisms on the planet. And so that really sort of made me realize that love is the way, And one particular writer, who's a conspiratorial writer, after years of investigating these global control systems, recognized that, the best way you can do is learn to love these individuals, and ourselves. And that's really true the answer. And, this echoes the core teachings of most spiritual teachings from the beginning of time to now. And so it's almost like we're fully coming back to these times now. And then I studied quantum physics after that sort of conspiratorial pathway I was on. And that was I left it probably 20 years ago. The quantum physics really deepened my understanding, that, everything at the smallest level, at the molecular level, is just vibration. It's just energy, like radio, there's waves flying through us all the time, carrying information. And we're constantly surrounded by these various frequencies. And ultimately, it's up to us to choose which frequencies we want to tune into. Just like a radio where you're turning a station, there's stations happening. If I want to turn the rock station, the jazz station, the country station, I have to actually tune it in to get there. No different than if I want to tune into a more loving vibe and tuning into that vibration of connection, I actually have to do it. It's an active way of being. And we all have that ability to tune into that way of being. And people are increasingly recognizing this choice and where we direct our attention. We've discovered that kindness and love create the best outcomes for everyone. This becomes even more crucial as we face today's global challenges. And as I said, after, I've been writing these down, but I'm going to be shifting sort of my videos to more present what's happening today. I'm recording this right now, March 5th, 2025. And, just seeing where the world's at right now. And I feel like I want to be more present to what I'm writing about. I've sort of given you a background through the first 5 episodes of what, where my position is on love is. And I really want to apply that to all the sort of things that are happening and to really empower people to be able to process all of the so-called negativity and the change that is happening so it doesn't overwhelm you. And just sort of finish off today's sort of episode, I'm not suggesting that love as a path is some final destination, Instead, it's really just a way of positively, influencing you right now, influencing your reality right now. Just try it. Send some love to someone, even in their madness, even that person that is close to you. And you're just like, I can't send love to them. Just try it. Look for the goodness in everyone you meet, even strangers. And this isn't just idealism. I guess some people would say it's idealism, but it really is the most efficient way to improve your experience of life, period. Regardless of your circumstances. Again, I'm not trying to, I'm sitting here in my nice house with this beautiful winter storm behind me. I have my own challenges and what have you, and there's people that have worse challenges, and there's people that have less challenges. But whatever your experience is, whatever the circumstances is, you do have a choice that you can shift and start to, look at that person with more compassion, more understanding, see their vulnerabilities, And so that's why I say, lean into love. It's why I called it the site. It's not about getting there. It's not about loving entirely. I don't even know what that would even be, my simple human mind. It's really just about moving towards that, leaning into the love of something that you may find more difficult to love. It's not easy, but it works. It really does work. And so, again, thank you for tuning in today. As I said, the future episodes are going to be more present moment. I'm not going to be using the paper. I don't even really like the paper. It's not as, I prefer to actually talk more freely, and that's where I'm going to be moving into. But I really just wanted to establish, through these first 5 episodes, really what, to give some clarity that, again, I'm not just being idealistic or naive about this love thing, that it is an actual power that's within all of us, that if we actually tune into that, we can really shape and change the world for the better our life circumstances and others, which obviously as others have better life circumstances, it's going to affect us as well. So thank you again, wherever you are. I wish you're having a beautiful day. Cheers.